G'day guys, Fitcho here, and welcome back to my F1 2018 Ferrari career mode. We're here for episode number 10 and the British Grand Prix here at a very overcast Silverstone today. Typical British summer, isn't it really? We're starting at the back of the grid as normal. Now, coming into this weekend, we did get an upgrade onto our car, so we're back pretty much level with both Mercedes and Red Bull on performance. That said, with three equal cars pretty much in terms of performance, the gaps at the front of the field here in qualifying were huge. Hamilton had pole by 3.5 tenths over, I believe it was our teammate Sebastian Vettel. Bottas was sitting there in third, Verstappen in fourth, and then Hulkenberg in fifth place, and he was over a second off pole position. So some big gaps at the front of the field. The quick guys are looking extremely quick, and we have a lot of cars to fight our way through. That said, there are some great overtaking opportunities here at Silverstone, and it is a track I do enjoy. But looking at the strategy, it doesn't look like this is a race where we can play ourselves in like we have done in the past. We're starting on the soft tyre, then switching to the medium tyre for a one-stop strategy. Of course, the soft tyre is the softest compound here, and that's what everyone at the front is going to be starting on, so they're probably going to go for the exact same strategy as us here. So we're going to have to be quick in today's Grand Prix, and we're going to have to pass a lot of cars if we want to be standing on that podium yet again. Just quickly, before we do get into the race, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe with notifications on. Without further ado, let's get to it. Here we go, we're on the grid at Silverstone. The lights are coming on. We have 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. The British Grand Prix is underway after a very short hold. Yet again, I just wasn't quite ready on the revs to get the ideal stars. We now head down into turn number 1. We're just going to send it around the outside, and we get a lot of illegal overtakes as Perez and Grosjean spin, but those illegal overtakes are gone. Chaos at turn number 1, and we managed to get through there unscathed, already up into 11th place. That's actually a perfect start for us, really. We made up 9 places with ease. We just have a lot less cars to get past now, so we have a bit of a gap up to Esteban Ocon, a bit of clean air. We can get our head down. While we did make a lot of overtakes, that did cost us a little bit of time because I was backing off to give back the position the illegal overtake the game did give me, but that then eventually did disappear. Oh, we have yellow flags up ahead, and that is Fernando Alonso off the track. I thought for a second he was going to accelerate back in front of us, and we came very, very close to hitting the stricken McLaren, and that is another position we get for free pretty much, already up into the points, not even at the end of lap number 1, without making any proper overtakes. Oh, it looks like Ocon is going for a move, potentially on a Renault, I think it is, of Carlos Sainz through Stowe, and he gets that move done. If these guys fight a little bit more, we'll just close up even more as Hamilton gets the fastest lap, immediately taken away by our teammate at the end of lap number 2, and then I take it away and go fastest in this Grand Prix. And I have just got the tyre wear up at this stage of the race because I'm very conscious of my tyre wear after how much we did struggle in the intermediate conditions in Austria. I'm normally pretty good on the tyres, but I'm just a bit wary in this race, this 26 lap race, one stop on the 2 softest compounds we have available, how I'm going to go making these tyres last. But now on to lap 3, we have the DRS flap open, but not quite close enough to Carlos Sainz down into Brooklands. Now we head into Luffield, go for a nice late apex, a bit of a Felipe Massa line through here to get the best run out of there onto Woodcote and onto the old pit straight. What can we do down into Copse? We're not going to be quite close enough to the Renault, and now we have to be careful. We're going to get a lot of dirty air and just going to make sure we don't hit the back of Carlos Sainz. Now down to Maggots and Beckett. We just don't have anywhere really to go now. We're going to change up our racing line a little bit to try to get the best run through this section and on to the hangar straight, and we do exactly that. DRS flap is now open. We're going to pull back into his slipstream. Not quite the best run. Sainz going past Ocon, myself going past Sainz. Can we get this double move done? Up into Stowe, yes we can, and up into P8 we do go. A nice move there on Ocon and Sainz. We took our time, made sure we didn't do anything too stupid, and we lined that up perfectly. Magnussen and Hulkenberg have been going at it a little bit on this lap, and we've been closing in a lot. Down to half a second as Magnussen looks to the outside, up into Stowe. Can the Dane get this around the outside? No, he can't. We get a lot of understeer in the dirty air of the pair of them as they're going side by side down into the final complex of corners. Hulkenberg has the favourable line for the last 2 corners. Can he hold on to that 6th position. I think he can, as Magnussen backs off a lot. We've had to go around the outside. That's borderline an illegal overtake, but he just backed off so much. We had absolutely no choice. It was go off the track or hit him. We're just going to carry on our merry way and up the inside. Oh, Hulkenberg, I didn't get far enough up the inside. I should have backed out. I was a bit over-aggressive there. Now we have front wing damage, and our race is in a very tricky position. That was my fault. I just didn't get far enough up the inside. I wasn't committed enough on the brakes to make that move work. I was just talking about my move on Sainz and Ocon, how I was patient. That was the opposite of that, and we've paid the price for going a little bit too aggressive. Maybe I was far enough up for Hulkenberg to give us a little bit more space. I expected maybe a tad more than what he did give us, but with the track being so wide there, but unfortunately he didn't want to give us any space, and I guess that's fair enough considering how far up the inside it was. And now we're going to be in an interesting position with our front wing damage. I didn't quite catch what it was. It's yellow on the left side. We're just going to push on for a little bit. So right in the slipstream of Carlos Sainz, we have a mega run into Maggots and Beckett's, but not too much we could do with that. Very long, sweeping late apexes through there, and we're onto the hangar straight. DRS flap is open. We have a mega run on the Spaniard, and we ease our way back past that Renault, and now we have Kevin Magnussen in front of us again. We have to find our way past Magnussen again. We're going to tough it out with this damage, I do think, at this stage of the Grand Prix. We're only at lap 5. We're halfway through this stint. I think lap 10 was our pit window, so we can keep pushing it a little bit longer, see if we can manage this and keep on the ideal strategy. Oh, we have a mega run on Magnussen into Maggots and Beckett's again. We're going to try to do the same thing, get the best possible run out of here onto the hangar straight, open the DRS flap in the slipstream of the Haas, pull to the inside. It's a very simple move, not even bumping it up into overtake mode on the ERS. We sweep back onto the racing line up into Stowe. A lot nicer move on Magnussen than what we did get, how we did get past him last time coming out of the final corner. And now we set our sights on Hulkenberg, of course the driver we just came together with a few laps ago. Oh, there goes Hulkenberg off into the pit lane. That's a little bit earlier than I did expect. Lap number 7. My pit window is lap number 10, I do believe. So maybe he's going for a 2-stop. Not too fast because we are now past Nico Hulkenberg. And up next is Max Verstappen. I've been watching the minimap a little bit. There's a 3-way battle between Verstappen, Ricciardo, and Bottas over the final podium place. I assume it's Bottas and Hamilton, and our teammate Sebastian Vettel are a little bit further up the road, battling it out for victory here at Silverstone. Oh, our teammate is in the pits, and it looks like the race, well, he was the race leader, I should say. The Mercedes battling with him, who I assume was Hamilton, has also come into the pits as we lock up into the Vale chicane, but the front two have both pitted. I have been watching on the minimap. They've been exchanging the lead of the race quite a lot, and it looks like one of the Red Bulls has also dived into the pit lane, that being Max Verstappen. And now Bottas leads the Grand Prix from Ricciardo and myself, and we're going to be pitting in at the end of this lap, and we'll finally get a new front wing. Right, end of lap number 10, and we are coming into the pit lane. Onto the brakes we do go. Slow it down for the limiter, of course, starting really early here at Silverstone. One of the longest pit lanes of the entire season. And we'll get rid of both these soft, worn tyres and that damaged front wing. We'll finally get a new front wing bolted onto our car. I will be honest, I don't think that damage affected us as much as I thought it might have. I didn't really notice it too much. I noticed it a little bit, but I felt I could still keep my pace up pretty well, still take respectable speed through the fast corners. And I overly wasn't too displeased with the performance with the damaged front wing, but a full, nice new front wing, I'm definitely not going to complain about that as we do bolt on the medium set of tyres, the middle compound here at this British Grand Prix at Silverstone. We're going to get back out into the race turn. The limiter off, oh, a bit of wheel spin there, getting a bit of heat into the rear tyres and almost hitting our front wing on the wall, and we rejoin the race in 12th position as we're going too deep into the first corner. Not a good sign. We have Sergei Sorokin right in behind us, I do believe, and Carlos Sainz up next on the road. He's gone onto the hard compound tyre. I did note the Renaults were pitting around lap 7, 8, and I've decided to go for the blue-walled hard tyres, which is a little bit confusing for me, seeing blue on a dry compound tyre. Of course, that is the wet tyre colour. It's not a good sign when they've got that many different compounds of tyres. They're now having to overlap colours between dry and wet. We have a big run on Carlos Sainz as we head into Maggots and Beckett's. Nowhere really to overtake through here. So let's do the same thing, try to get the best exit we possibly can through this segment onto the hangar straight, and a mega run on Science, open the DRS, and we blast past him so easily. He just doesn't have the grip in those hard tires or the straight line speed in that Renault power unit to compete with our Ferrari and our nice new medium tires. And up into 8th place we do go, and now we have Kevin Magnussen just up ahead of us on the road. Again, we're getting a mega run coming down to Maggots and Beckett's, and there's just nothing to do with this run through this segment of corners. You just can't overtake through here, so we'll do that same line through there, get the best exit, open the DRS flap, overtake mode, and we can breeze past the Haas up into 7th place. And now we have Nico Hulkenberg just ahead of us. I'm going to be a lot more careful trying to get past the Hulk this time than I was last time. Oh, a nice run through Maggots and Beckett's. We get the DRS on Hulkenberg, go purple in that sector, up into overtake mode in the slipstream. We're going to go up the inside of Stone. We well and truly get up the inside of Hulkenberg far enough into that corner. We make that move stick, now up into 6th place. And up next is Valtteri Bottas, and I believe he's still fighting with the 2 Red Bulls on track. So if we can catch up to that 3-way battle, we could be in contention for a podium, as Verstappen is now that 5th place car, Bottas making an overtake, and that's the 3rd lap in a row we have taken the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Ricciardo and Verstappen seem to be really going at it just up ahead of us. The name on the top left of the screen for 5th place has flicked between the two of them a fair few times over the last couple of laps, and it looks like Bottas has broken clear of that Red Bull fight, while I believe it is Lewis Hamilton out leading the Grand Prix. He's broken away a little bit from our teammate Sebastian Vettel. Here they go, the 2 Red Bulls. Ricciardo to the outside, up into Stowe. Can he do it right around the outside of his teammate? I think he can, but it's not over as we head down into the Vale chicane, and now through the last 2 corners of Verstappen now has the inside line. The Red Bulls going side by side, and Ricciardo loses out after trying it into Stowe. And you can see just how much that has helped us, how much we are closing in on the Red Bull duo right now. And we're almost in a position to strike through the new complex of corners, and once we get out onto the Wellington straight with a bit of DRS, we should be able to find our way past our fellow Aussie Daniel Ricciardo. I do believe he is going to have DRS as well, but we have a better power unit in our Ferrari, but he's going for it on Verstappen. We're just going to have to sit in behind as the 2 Red Bulls duke it out, as we get a lot of understeer, a bit of dirty air there, as Ricciardo gets that move done on Max. And now out of Luffield we do go through Woodcote, sitting in behind the 2 Red Bulls. We can't really do anything as we head down into Comps, but we'll try to get a nice run through Maggots and Beckett's and down the hangar straight. It was a right in behind Max Verstappen right now. Not close enough, annoyingly. We have to get out of the throttle coming in to Maggots and Beckett's. That is not what we want at all. Let's take this wider line. Maybe that lost us a little bit more time than it gained us, but they're going so slow. I was afraid I'd hit the back of him if I stayed on the normal racing line. In the slipstream of Verstappen, he pulls up the inside of Ricciardo. Can we get up the inside of the pair of them? A double overtake into Stowe on the Red Bull duo, and we get that done now into 4th place. And now we set our sights on Valtteri Bottas and a podium here at the British Grand Prix. Yellow flags up ahead. What has happened? We're heading through Comps. It's our teammate Sebastian Vettel. He's stopped from 2nd place in the Grand Prix. What has happened? It looks like he is out of today's Grand Prix from 2nd place. That promotes us up onto the podium, but that is not what you want to see, especially for the Constructors' Championship. What has happened to Sebastian? It looks like it must have been a mechanical failure. There we go, Sebastian Vettel out of the race. Confirmation. He had all 4 wheels on his car, and it still looked like his front wing was intact. I didn't think he was close to anyone on track in terms of back markers. And now we are up onto the podium, and we're going to have to push really hard in these final 4 laps if we want to stop a Mercedes 1-2 here at Silverstone. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We are pushing hard as we're on to lap 24 of 26 of this British Grand Prix. We are trying to hunt down Valtteri Bottas. You can just see him up there at the very next corner. We're not that far behind him, but it's going to be a challenge to catch him and pass him with less than 3 laps to go now. Pierre Gasly is out of the Grand Prix as we set another fastest lap as we start the penultimate lap of today's British Grand Prix. The car starting to get a little bit loose on us. There is Gasly off the road. That'll be a mechanical failure with where that car is parked up. We are catching up to Bottas, but is it going to be enough to get past the Finn in the dying stages of this Grand Prix? I'm not too sure. Oh, it's been a mega run through Maggots and Beckett's. Onto the hangar straight we go. We are within DRS of Valtteri Bottas in the slipstream of the Mercedes. Up the inside, down into Stowe. Easy as you like, into second place. We do go, splitting up the Mercedes, denying them of a 1-2 finish. We have one lap left here to go at Silverstone. Is Bottas going to come back at us, or is this a done deal? I am not too sure. Onto the final lap we do go. We just miss out on getting another fastest lap. He's not close enough into turn number 1. Now through farm, he's dropped a little bit of a way back. Is into the big braking zone, into the right hand, into the new complex of corners. Through the hairpin, we do go a little bit too much curve. That's going to cost our exit. Through Aintree we go on to the Wellington straight. He is still in behind us. He's got DRS. We've still got our ERS up. I could probably turn it a little bit higher, but he's not close enough down into Brooklands. We hold on to second place for now. Through Luffield for the final time, where I sat at this year's real life British Grand Prix. Onto the power we do go again. Now into Woodcote. We are just far enough ahead. We don't have to worry into comps. That's not really an overtaking opportunity, and we are really strong through Maggots and Beckett's. I think we have done enough. You can see even through comps, we're really strong. We pull a bit away from Valtteri Bottas. Now in to Maggots and Beckett's for the final time in today's Grand Prix. A nice run through there, squeeze back onto the power, out onto the hangar straight, and you can see we've pulled out of DRS range now, 1.1 seconds back to the Finn. We're so strong there. Through sector number 2, up into Stowe for the final time. A little bit too much curb. Not too fussed about that, and now only a handful of corners to go. Lewis Hamilton has won today's British Grand Prix. The hometown hero prevails here in Silverstone, and we come home in second place, denying Mercedes of a 1-2 finish, with Bottas still making it a double podium for the Silver Arrow. But it's not the 1-2 finish that they would have wanted, and it looked like they were going to get after Sebastian Vettel did retire in today's Grand Prix. And I think we did a pretty good job, considering we couldn't play our way in with strategy, and we did have front wing damage in that Grand Prix. We just couldn't attack Hamilton there in the end, though he was that quick in today's race. And if Vettel had held on, his engine or whatever failed, held on a bit longer, we'd have only just got onto the podium there in the end. But that's how racing goes sometimes.
Good credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
So there we have it. Lewis Hamilton has won his home Grand Prix from pole position. I fought my way from 20th on the grid up into second place. Considering strategy wasn't a big element in today's Grand Prix, I'm very happy with that result. And then Bottas rounding out the podium. Of course, we just got past him in the dying stage of that Grand Prix. And Max Verstappen did end up on top in that Red Bull battle by quite a margin in the end. 10 seconds between them. Not too sure what happened after they were fighting so closely. Ricardo must have picked up damage or something. And then Magnussen, Sainz, Perez, Hulkenberg, and Charles Leclerc round out the top 10. Stoffel Van Dorn just missing out on points here, and Pierre Gasly and more importantly Sebastian Vettel did not finish today's Grand Prix. Both mechanical failures. Not too sure what did happen there to Sebastian Vettel, and definitely not what we want to see in terms of the championship, as Vettel has now dropped down to 6th place behind both of the Red Bulls, but we continue to lead. It's a Ferrari in 1st and a Ferrari in 6th, both Mercedes and both Red Bulls there in between. Hamilton is our closest competitor, 39 points back, so he has closed in a few points. Bottas jumps Verstappen up into 3rd place. He is 51 points off us and now 2 points ahead of the Dutchman, with Daniel Ricciardo there in 5th, now jumping ahead of Sebastian Vettel, only 3 points separating them. Both of them experiencing a lot of bad luck in this season. That's the 2 Renaults and the 2 Force Indias, with Hülkenberg ahead of Ocon, then Sainz and Perez, and Charles Leclerc sitting there in 11th place. And jumping across to the constructors, this weekend has really hurt us, with Vettel not scoring any points and Mercedes both on the podium. There's only 5 points between us and the Silver Arrows, very, very close at the front. Red Bull is 50 points back, and then Renault is in the best of the rest position. So that brings us to the end of the weekend here at Silverstone. Next up, we head to Hockenheim, which is the middle race of this 21-round championship. And as you can see so far, there's only one race where we have not stood upon the podium, and that was in Canada, where we did DNF. It does say 19th place. I think we were classified because it was that close to the end, but we didn't finish that Grand Prix. Every race that we have finished, we have stood on the podium. 3 seconds to start the season. 1st, 3rd, 1st. Then we had that DNF. We won in France, then back-to-back 2nd places. Can we keep this podium run going? I definitely hope so, heading into Hockenheim. A track, of course, we haven't seen since 2016, but it is a track I do quite enjoy, but I'm not too sure where my pace is going to lie. We're just going to have to wait and find out. But that's going to do it for this video today, guys. If you guys have enjoyed it, make sure you do leave a like. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.